Welcome back. Joining me is Professor Richard Resch from the Concordia Theological Seminary here in Fort Wayne to talk about some of their upcoming concerts at the Kramer Chapel. Always good to talk about Concordia Seminary out there. You have a beautiful campus, Richard.
We do. It's a joy every day.
It is. What is your position there at Concordia Seminary?
I'm one of two full-time musicians, and I direct the Seminary Cantor, which is a select choir of 16 men, and I direct the Schola Cantorum, which is a mixed choir from the community too, of about 50 voices. Then I'm the co-director of the Good Shepherd Institute, and then I also teach the future pastors about Lutheran hymnody.
Okay. The concerts that we're going to talk about in just a minute, you have a conference coming up, lots of good free music for our audience to learn about. But the concerts are going to be in the Kramer Chapel. And for those of us who haven't been to the Kramer Chapel, designed by the famous architect Arias, what makes this a special, special place to hear music?
The design is so perfect, it's so right. And the acoustics in there cannot be beat. I think the Philharmonic players just love to come and play in there, and it is easy to sing. It's a joy to sing in a space like that. So you've got the art, and then you've got the acoustics, and it all goes together.
It really is a hidden gem, I think, in the whole campus, the way it was designed by Saarinen. And for those who don't know the name, he designed the famous TWA terminal at JFK and the St. Louis Arch. So
yes.
Danish or Finnish, I don't recall, but quite a well-known one. We're going to talk a little bit more about the design of the chapel, but let's get on to some of the concerts. You're having a conference here in November, which is what God has joined together. You're going to have 5 free concerts to the public. You're going to start with an organ concert on November 6th at 4:30.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the organ concert that you're going to start with.
This will be Dr. Craig Kramer, who is the university organist at Notre Dame here in South Bend. And he has come and played at our chapel many times. He is a good friend of our seminary. I, in fact, made a CD together with him where we split the recording responsibilities. And we're looking forward to having him back. It'll be a varied program of Baroque through Romantic and even into some modern music at 4:30.
What I'm interested in hearing, because you explained to me that this organ at Concordia is actually very special because it was designed. The organ designer worked very, very closely with the architect. A lot of times we think of, a church is built and then we put an organ in it, or a chapel's built and but they actually worked together to get the acoustics just right. So that the organ was influenced by the architecture and the architecture was influenced by the organ. Is that how it works?
Exactly. That's part of what makes it so amazing. Herman Schlicker really wanted to get his first large instrument in this room. So he actually even gave part of the organ so that he could get this work in there. But the two of them worked together, and they actually came to some decisions that they wanted to have some trumpets that went out in this direction, but there are no lines in the whole building that go out this way. All the lines in the whole building are this way. So they had to hide those pipes that actually go contrary to the design of the building. So they're in there, but nobody sees them.
Wow, what a masterpiece. So moving on November 6th, you have a choir. You have some work going on in the evening with the Schola Cantorum, yes.
My mixed choir, the Schola, is going to be doing some large works. Johann Sebastian Bach's first big movement of his cantata number 1, based on How Brightly Shines the Morning Star, and we'll have quite a number of Philharmonic, the concertmaster and a lot of the chairs will be actually the orchestra for that Bach piece, and for some other parts of that service too. That is a worship service. The one in the afternoon is not, that is a recital, but people are invited to both. You certainly may come, and recommend that you, especially for the evening one, that you come early because that is usually packed and to get a seat. Okay,
and you mentioned that there will be a Fort Wayne Philharmonic players playing as well.
Yes.
Is this a community choir or a seminary choir?
It's a combination. So it's some seminary students and their wives and some deaconesses, and then we have quite a number actually from the community.
Well, moving on to November 7th, the fun continues with Musica Classica, again at the chapel. Tell us about that.
That's an early music ensemble. It's going to be a 35-minute program in the middle of the day.
1 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, kind of a wonderful break from all the lectures. And this group is quite interesting in that they are not located in any one city. Their director, Philip Spray, is in Indianapolis, but he has gathered these outstanding musicians from Kansas City and from various cities, and then he gets a concert venue, and then he flies everybody to that place, and they perform together. And so they are outstanding musicians.
Is this small chamber music, or
yes,
what?
Yes, and they're using the early instruments, and
Oh wow, that is special.
and they are going to be doing mainly Renaissance just through Baroque. They're not going past the Baroque.
Richard, tell us a little bit about the tradition of music in a Lutheran faith. You know, you have some pretty well-known composers coming out of the Lutheran faith, Bach and
Some of the biggest.
Some of the biggest.
Yes. It has always been a very, very big part of what we are about as Lutherans, starting back with Martin Luther, who was quite a musician himself and a hymn writer. And then that continued on with Schutz and then with Bach and then eventually with Mendelssohn. We've got, and they all were writing for the Lutheran Church. So there is an amazing heritage there. That's part of what I teach in my classes, so that our future pastors know about that heritage and can then take that out and give that to their people and then live it too, because it is a glorious treasure. Yes,
it's the best. It's just some of the best music in the world, and they have to learn the hymns, and they have to learn all of that, which is, I think, takes a bit of an education.
It does.
Well, you also have the children's choir of St. Paul's Lutheran Church from St. Louis, Missouri, coming in on Monday, the 7th as well. Tell us about this group.
Yeah, this is about, I think it's 42 young singers from one of the very finest Lutheran church choirs in St. Louis. Every year we bring in one that has kind of established itself as a fine children's choir. And this year it is, they're coming, and they will be doing a very simple kind of 45-minute service at the end of the day and just before the banquet. It's after all the lectures. It's a very beautiful, quiet kind of service.
Is this a conference that you do every year?
Yes, this is the 12th annual, and we take different aspects of the church's life. And this year we are looking at Christian marriage. Last year we looked at the Christian's death. And one year we looked at Bach, 1 year at Luther.
Oh, I see. So the theme is Christian marriage.
The theme changes every year, and this year it is Christian marriage.
And then you have the hymn festival,
Yes.
Monday, November 7th as well.
That is the other musician on our campus, Kevin Hildebrandt, will be leading that. And it's a whole evening of doing nothing but singing hymns. And the whole congregation sings, and it's just a glorious about an hour and 15 minutes of singing, and he is an amazing composer. He is really our composer in residence, so virtually everything that he's going to be doing, he wrote.
Wow.
So he'll have Philharmonic players there, a brass choir, and some others involved in that particular event too.
And like I said, it must be a very unique experience in that the acoustics are so well designed in there. But I also understand that you've recorded a CD, or the choir out there has recorded a CD. Tell us.
Just came out today.
Just came out. How
today? It's called "He Is Risen Indeed." Alleluia! It's my Seminary Cantor, and this is an Easter CD. We have done many other seasons of the church here, but we've never done an Easter one. And every year I take the group out on an Easter tour, and so going all the way back to 2004, I've taken the best from the tours from 2004, and they're on this CD. There are 19 tracks on here, and it's about 67-minute CD. And,
Wow, how does one find it? How does go out there to Concordia and get it, or?
It's available at our bookstore, yes, at the seminary, or Concordia Publishing House in St. Louis also sells it.
I see. Well, how does, generally speaking, you have other concerts throughout the year, and do people just call in or go on the website to find out more about what's going on at Concordia?
Right. Just let us know that you'd like to be on our mailing address list, and we'd be happy to keep you informed. Or go to our website, ctsfw.edu, and click on the events, and you'll see what's available.
And who are the people that are generally performing out there? Are they the students in the Concordia Seminary, or do you bring in guests throughout the year?
A little of both.
A little bit of both.
You know, the Cantor, those are obviously those are students. The Schola, that's about 2/3 would be students. But obviously we're bringing in Craig Kramer, and we're also bringing in an organist from Champaign-Urbana, who will be with us in January. So there are events throughout the year.
Well, I'm looking forward to heading on out there, especially to hear that organ in that chapel. I hear it's something special that you're not going to hear very often. But Richard, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been my pleasure.
For more information about Concordia Seminary and the concerts at Kramer Chapel, or how you can get a CD for the choir, please visit ctsf.edu or call 452-2100. Arts Weekly airs every week, Tuesday through Thursday, on College Access Television, and most Sundays on WFWA PBS 39. You can also see us on YouTube and Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Thanks for tuning in to Arts Weekly. Join me next week with Samir Patel from the Fort Wayne Philharmonic and John O'Connell from the Department of Theater at IPFW.